Episode 29. We are one away from the big 3-0.
The Real Estate Tailgate. It is May 1st. What is up, fellas?
What up, doe?
What's up?
We're back in studio early morning today.
Yeah.
Early taping, not that you guys
Yeah, a little bit
that
earlier.
don't affect our audience.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit earlier.
A little earlier for us.
But it's the sun's coming out, man. It was raining pretty tough there a couple
Yeah.
hours ago or so.
Kind of peaceful, too. I like when it rains and storms, and it's like they have literally YouTube channels just dedicated to simulated rain and thunderstorms, and it helps you sleep. So.
Yeah. Well, not only, it feels almost like a cleansing.
Yes.
But
yes.
Talking about relaxation and stuff like that, things were not relaxing last week. What happened last week, Mike?
The NFL draft.
The NFL draft.
What do you guys think? What everyone's asking me in my personal life. It's like, everyone I see, like, what do you think of the draft? What do you think of the draft? I don't know why my opinion is because I'm a fan. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
like,
you are Mitchell Thomas after all.
actually, so go back a show. My prediction was pretty close. I said, don't be surprised if we take an offensive lineman in the first round. We took him in the second round. And I said, everyone's talking edge rusher. And I said, we're going to take a defensive tackle. Because that's a position in need. We needed depth there.
Yeah.
I know we got a Lee McNeil, but his injury, I don't know if he's going to be back in time. I thought it was a great pick.
Yeah.
I liked it, personally. I know the professor did because he's from the Ohio State University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're not all perfect.
Yeah, I actually.
And the Bears, didn't the Bears draft your tight end from Michigan?
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. It's on the top of my head. Tip of my tongue.
I feel like the draft, like people were just
I was like, that's an old Lions move. Good luck with that.
Well,
nothing against the kid, but I'm like, drafted a tight end in the first round.
And I feel like people
early?
here in Michigan really, at least from what I gathered and understood, because I believe it was in Green Bay this year, was it not? So I feel like people here in Michigan were kind of boycotting the draft because it's in Green. Because last year it was here.
Did you see my man? Did you see it?
No.
Clay Matthews.
Oh God, Clay! What
You
did
guys
he do?
didn't see it? I shared it on Facebook too.
Yeah.
So you know how they have people come out and announce, they're calling the draft or introduce the next person.
Yeah.
Clay Matthews, former linebacker for the Packers.
Oh, yeah. No, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. He comes out. He's like, I got a letter here from President Trump.
Yeah,
The
that was
President of
pretty
the
good.
United States. He opens up and says, "Dear American people," or something. Don't quote me, but he goes, the Bears still suck.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
He yelled it on stage. It was great, man.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, did you see the video clip of Amon-Ra at the draft?
No.
He was in the crowd. I think it was his own like video. He was taking his own video.
Yeah.
So like in the front towards the stage, they had like sections, right? Like there was like Vikings fans and Lions fans and Bears fans. I think the Bears and the Lions were right next to each other. So he gets his camera and he goes in front of the Bears and he's filming himself and he's like putting his thumbs down, boo, 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 and then he goes right next door over to the Lions and I'm like, yeah. I thought that was
I love
pretty
Amon-Ra,
my
dude.
God.
He is
Yeah,
a funny dude. You ever listen to
Yeah.
his podcast? He is a funny guy.
Yeah, I see
He's
bits
a
and
character.
pieces.
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig their podcast.
Yeah, he does have a good show.
So, and then my man Terrion Arnold, he threw a few jabs at the Packers fans too.
Oh, yeah.
When he got up to announce too, the best day of my life, I wasn't drafted by Green Bay or something like that. It's good. It's all
fun and games.
fun, right? Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Good competition. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, but going back to the picks, I agree. I loved both the first and second pick.
I like that. Yeah.
Especially.
Tate Rutledge from Georgia.
Yep.
Big boy too.
Yep.
Big dude.
Yep. We took some Bulldogs this year instead of.
And then Isaac Tesla, that wide receiver from Arkansas. Man, his combine stuff and his size, everything, his speed. I was kind of impressed with that pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
we got another guard from Louisiana.
Yep.
You guys got your edge rusher. All you people whining about an edge rusher. We got Ahmad Hassanin, edge rusher from Boise State. First Egyptian player in the NFL.
Exactly.
Ooh,
awesome.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Then we got a safety from Georgia and another wide receiver from Georgia in
Yep.
round 7.
Yep.
So.
Got some Bulldogs this year instead of, I think last draft or the last couple drafts, we were grabbing guys from Alabama, right? But this year was Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And of course the Buckeye.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I tried to stay off social media on all the picks too, because everyone's like, "Hey, we need an edge rusher. What's he doing?" I'm like, "Trusted Brad Holmes. He knows what he's doing, man."
Yeah. Overall, I think that. I'm no expert by any means.
A good defensive tackle is going to help the edge rusher. We still have Hutch.
Exactly.
We still have other people. We have Davenport just coming back. So
that's just
I asked someone. I throw this out there. 2014, the Lions were the number 3 defense in the league. Number 3. Ndamukong Suh was our defensive tackle.
Oh, yeah.
Does anyone even remember who our edge rushers were?
Probably not.
A lot of people don't. I'm like, yeah, that's my point.
That's the point. Yep.
Yeah.
It's an entire line.
It was
folks.
Ziggy Ansah and Cliff Averill.
Yep.
Both good players, but none were.
Well, yeah. Sue was the man.
Yeah.
Sue was the man,
Yeah.
and that's just it. It's an entire line. Okay.
Yep.
They have to
Football
work.
is a team sport.
Exactly.
Always.
They got to work together on that
Always.
defensive line. And I'm just talking defense. You're right. It is a team sport, but in defense,
I mean, would I love to have a Hutch Jr. on the other edge? Of course. Of course, it's not, there's money involved, though, too. That's not manageable for
right. Well,
the salary cap. to
once
have
again,
2 superstars on each side.
The edge that we drafted, we don't know yet. Like I said, it depends
Right.
on how they all work in tandem, right?
So he's kind of reminds me of Ziggy Ansah. He's supposed to have extreme athletic ability, but his downfall is he just started playing football.
Mm-hmm. He didn't play like when he was real young.
Like Ziggy was the same way. He didn't play. Ziggy was from, I forget what country in Africa, but he didn't play. So he just came here and started playing like in college. But his athleticism made him so good. Yeah,
made up for it.
And that's what it sounds like. This guy's the same way.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I don't know. Overall, I was really happy with the draft. I
was too. I mean,
in Brad, I trust.
Yep. I was happy with the draft overall. I mean, considering the picks that we had, where we had to pick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we were in the top 20.
Brad made some moves. He made some moves.
Yeah, he made some moves to get what they felt that they wanted to get. So, kudos to them. I mean,
did you hear Brad's interview before the draft? It was pretty funny. It was something like, I don't know why everyone's all up in arms. He's like, just grab some popcorn and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know where I'm picking even right now. I don't know who I'm taking,
Oh, that's funny. No.
Well, it does. Picks. His point was it changes every pick. Like, because they could have their eye on someone and someone else take, so then all of a sudden everything changes.
Well, he actually used a great analogy in that when he was speaking. When he talked about, he's like, well, when you go to the movies, you don't, that's why you watch the movie, right?
Yeah.
That's when he brought up the part. He's like, that's why you watch the movie. Yeah. All right. You might have heard about the movie or, heard some opinions, but you actually go to watch the movie and enjoy the movie. So do the same thing here. We don't know, we don't know everything that's going to happen. So grab your popcorn.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, that was good.
What about Shedeur Sanders? We got to talk about this.
Oh,
man. I thought it was crazy he was where he was drafted. I was like, wow. I was like glued to the team.
Yeah.
David actually, you called me or texted me Saturday. And I was like, that was the 2 that I saw. I had the draft on all day Saturday. Which is not as exciting as the first day, of course, but I had it like on the background. And,
I had it on the background too.
The 2 I actually caught live was Shedeur getting drafted and the Lions pick. So it was cool. But
yeah,
wow.
Well, he got picked in the 5th round or something, or like
here's my opinion on the whole Shedeur thing.
Yeah,
that's all I want to hear his opinion.
Well, first of all, I think the guy's he's a really good player.
I think he's going to be a good quarterback. Well, here's the other thing. Any of these quarterbacks, you never know if they're going to make it in the NFL, no matter how great they are in college.
You don't know who's going to make it.
It's always a 50-50.
Exactly. Because, we can go back in history and how many quarterbacks we thought were going to be good and they ended up being a bust.
Jamarcus Russell?
Yeah.
Oh, we could list all kinds of quarterbacks, but
and the people that were highly like they were saying, Jimmy Clausen was supposed to be a great NFL.
And then the ones that really came out of nowhere. I mean, just look at Tom Brady, right? I mean, Tom Brady wasn't like a number one pick by far.
Yeah.
So there's all kind of examples. In my opinion, I think the guy is very talented, and I think he will succeed.
I think so
in the
too.
NFL.
I think he will.
Okay. It might not be right away, but I think he's going to have some pretty good success. I'm not saying he's going to be like a superstar. I could be wrong. Okay. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think he's going to be really, really good. And I think part of it is not only because, of what he has shown, but, he grew up in that environment of who his dad is. And he's just basically a football junkie, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, look at who the number one pick was. They're like best friends, and they grew up together, right? I mean, the number two pick, right? So, and his brother plays too, right? Yep. So, I mean, in other words, he's coming from a football family. They kind of know, and I think it's the media's fault. I think it's the analyst's fault that they expected him to go so high. But this isn't the first year. I mean, how many years? Almost every year in the draft, someone's invited there, right? To be picked, and they don't get picked in the first round or second round. I think what made it worse was that he didn't go until like the fifth round. But you got to remember, he's a quarterback.
And a lot of it was his dad. I'm sorry. It was. And that was my... I grew up watching primetime, man.
Yep.
I like Deion.
Yep, and that's his personality.
I was watching the Colorado Buffalo games, not because of his son, because when Deion brought him into relevancy, I thought it was cool.
Exactly, same
I know
here.
Some people don't like Coach Prime and all that. I started watching Colorado Buffalo football because 2 years ago when he took over.
Because of Coach Prime, and
so I'm a Coach Prime fan, but I think he did not help his son out.
No, I agree with you totally.
Because you got to remember, management, NFL, they're looking, what are we taking on with this kid?
Everything.
He's going to want to step in coaching. It's going to be a circus. It's going to... And I can just see it, and I think that's what happened. And his son got a little arrogant, too, because he hasn't earned anything yet.
Yeah.
He hasn't.
But I think you're spot on, man. And I agree with you. Like I said...
I saw some people on social media playing the race card. I was like, come on, man. Has nothing to do with race.
Yeah, has nothing to do with that. To me... You're spot on, okay? Because I'm a Coach Prime fan too, but Coach Prime.
I mean, that was more our era, David, right? We watched when Prime was the Dallas Cowboys, man.
Yep. But that's just it. In my opinion, you either like him or you hate him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was always been a fan. I still am.
I've always been a fan. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with everything he does.
Right. No, we're not worshiping him, but he's... I like him.
If anything, sometimes he just cracks me up. I'm like, I can't believe he said this, or I can't believe he did this. But to me, that's, I get a kick out of it because there's entertainment value in that to me.
Okay, yes. And I think to both of your points, so yes, like Mitchell said, he hasn't earned anything yet. Mm-hmm. And I think the way that it was
to have
done,
that much of an ego,
right? Exactly. To
turn teams down for interviews. There's only 32 NFL teams. He's turning them down for interviews.
Right.
He was prior to that.
So it's that. Okay, he was humbled, which I'm all for.
Yep.
And as far as his dad goes, I mean, I respect what he's done with Colorado Buffalo and all that, and his career as an athlete. He does.
I'm not even saying his dad's a great coach. I just like what he did. I just liked watching it.
And again, I respect his athleticism and what he's done. I think that when Deion gets on the camera or what have you, he makes it all about Deion.
But that's him.
Right.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Right. Yeah. And it's sometimes it takes... I sometimes feel like it kind of takes away from the work that he's put in with, but again, then when you take a step back and look at what he has done, it's like, okay, I get it.
And then I don't know what is all true and what's not, because I see stuff on Facebook and social media.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know what's actually true, but I read that his son Shiloh he hired an agent.
I just heard that too.
Before that, Deion was acting as agent. I don't know if that's true though. So
I heard that too, but I don't know if it's true.
So I read this, I saw this, and again, I don't know if this is I don't know if this is true or not.
If it's on the internet, it must be true.
I don't know if this was quoted, but it says it's saying that Chris Carter said this. Hall of Famer Chris Carter, wide receiver from the Minnesota Vikings. It's saying that he said this. I don't know if he did or not, so I don't know if it's true, but I kind of like, I'm going to read it because I think I kind of agree with what they're saying here, no matter who said it. So this article says, NFL Hall of Famer Chris Carter says Shedeur Sanders' entitlement and measurables weren't enough for a first-round draft pick. He says being likable plays a part in the draft, and the fact that Shedeur had already put together a merch line stating he's legendary was off-putting. Carter claims the NFL didn't sabotage Sanders. They taught him a great lesson, and now he knows he's not running anything. So I think it might bring him down a little notch and make him successful in the NFL.
No,
so I don't know if Chris Carter actually said that, but I kind of agree with whoever said that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree, and I agree with what Doc said to a point. As far as I think you're absolutely right in the fact about Deion. Okay, but that's the way he's always been. That's what I mean. He rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
But look at what he's done, though. So you can, he can have.
Yes,
he's earned it.
Yeah, for him.
Right.
He's earned it for him, and far from a coaching. One of the things that Mike just said was, I don't even know if he's even a great coach. Well, I agree too.
I don't think he's a great coach.
I think
he's good for that program.
I think he's a great
PR person.
Yes. He's a great motivator and a great leader in some respects.
An ambassador.
Okay? Yeah. I mean, he's great at a lot of things, but I think what he's good at is convincing people, okay, that if you allow him to do it his way, he's going to have some success. Now, that doesn't mean he's always going to be successful, right? Because remember, when he first took over Colorado, I think he came out the gate and shot with some wins, but then, he started losing games and lost a lot of that luster and everything.
Well, he came out and he had cleared out the portal.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. He did it his way. He did it his way, right? Yep. He basically brought the guys that he wanted to, and
they went from a 1-win team to a 7 or 8 win team.
Right.
It was it was fun. It was exciting.
So it's just the way he does it, okay? And the way he does it, once again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. We're just talking about what he might be good at and why he stays in the spotlight. Yes. But see, what you said is true as far as his son, okay? Shedeur, okay, is some of that attitude is rubbed off on him, but he just hasn't earned it yet.
Right.
So, I think I understand exactly what you're saying. What you just read.
Man, of all possible teams to go to, man, the quarterback room at Cleveland. How many quarterbacks?
Well, I texted you about that. Yeah. Did I text you about that? Because I missed it.
What are they doing?
I had the draft on in the other room, and I was I was at home doing some crap, and then you guys, one of you, you sent the text, right? You sent the text because you said you saw it. That Shedeur finally got picked or whatever. And what did I text you back? I said, wow, something like he went to that team. Good for him. They really need another quarterback. I mean, if you look at what they just did within the last year, I think they got rid of someone and then they brought in 2 or 3 quarterbacks. And I named some of the quarterbacks that I know. They
drafted 2 this year.
Yeah,
they drafted 2.
They drafted 2, but look at who do they have on the roster? I sent that text.
That's what I pulled it up for you guys.
Who do they have right now? So they have
Deshaun.
Deshaun is still on the roster. They haven't gotten rid of Deshaun yet, right?
He's still on there.
Okay. And then they just got Joe Flacco, okay?
Kenny Pickett.
And Kenny Pickett because they took Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, and then they drafted Gabriel from the Oregon Ducks.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then Shedeur. Yeah. So I guess they're going to play with 2 offensive linemen because they got too many quarterbacks on their roster.
I don't know, man. Cleveland, I don't know.
That's a punishment.
And remember,
it's just the history of quarterbacks don't succeed there at Cleveland. They've drafted the most quarterbacks in the NFL. Cleveland.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. Well, now they've drafted more this year than most teams have drafted in 10 years. I mean, and not only that. Think about what, the money they've been spending, right? Didn't they just sign Garrett to make him the most expensive?
Myles Garrett, most expensive.
I mean,
that's right.
They just do off the wall crap, man. It's like I said, more power to him. I wish him the best, and I think the team itself. I mean, Cleveland has a history. We've talked about it on other shows about the Brownies and whatnot. They've got a history, man, and they, but their ownership and front office, man, just seems to be so out of whack and so out of touch. I
didn't say this or predict this one, but in my head I kept thinking, and I was way off. But I kept thinking that the Dallas Cowboys were going to take him. I don't know why I did. I kept thinking that. It just seemed like some Jerry Jones, Deion, and bring him in and
they were.
I could see that happening.
That would have been interesting.
It would have been. Oh my god, that would have been. Cool.
They were probably going to if Cleveland didn't. You know what I mean?
Deion back at Dallas, his son there, Jerry Jones would have been like.
Yeah,
I don't know. It would have been a circus, but it would have been exciting. It would have been exciting for sure.
It was one big happy family.
Yeah. So
one big happy delusional family. But then the other big shocker, a WTF moment, Shedeur gets a prank call.
Yes, I want to talk about that.
And comes to find out it came from, I believe, one of the staff's sons from the Falcons.
The defensive coordinator's son.
Yeah, first off. Okay, even though people will give Shedeur a crap or whatever, I don't care who you are. You're toying with someone's emotions and their future.
Man, I didn't like that.
Come on,
and not only toying with them like that, but in public. I mean, on the spotlight.
Right.
In the spotlight.
Right.
That is... I did not like that at all.
And,
I didn't like that. I think I told you it was rude. I mean, I told you I had to laugh about it because just the idea that someone would do that to me is just hilarious. But it's really rude. And
it's beyond rude. Yeah. It's disrespectful.
Yeah. Jeff Ulbricht's son. Jeff Ulbricht's the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, and his son. And... there were some penalties handed down and stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
because
See,
here's what I heard. I don't know if you heard this or not. I just heard some bits about it.
There are some repercussions to all that. As there should have been.
What I heard was, it's kind of kept pretty tight knit. All these prospects, their list of phone numbers.
Yes,
it's kept tight knit. So I think that's one of the things that they were trying to figure out was how in the heck did someone get, because I also heard that was like a brand new phone. It was a phone that was purchased just for the draft. Correct. And a lot of times I think they do that. That's why they do that.
Saying supposedly they got it off an open iPad.
Yeah.
That his son saw it on an open iPad.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know, but...
And he wrote the number down.
But yeah, you knew that they were going to investigate it.
He probably screenshot it. Right?
Well, you knew they were going to investigate it and someone's going to get in trouble.
Of course.
Basically. So, and that's what's happening. So...
Yeah, and then that just
that was bullshit, man. They shouldn't do that.
Yeah, but see...
That was not right to do that.
No, it's definitely not right. But just the fact that it happened, once again, it's just one of those things that just it makes this draft just even
more wacky.
More wacky, exactly. You know what I mean? So
yeah, this year's draft was something. Yeah, it's just not a good look, and like we said, it's disrespectful. And say what you want about Shedeur, but yeah, when you're preying on someone like that, when they're relying on this for their future, come on, let's dial.
That's the down part of downside of social media. They were doing this to get TikTok views or something. I'm sure. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm saying they were doing this to try and go viral, right? YouTube, TikTok, whatever. That's the downside.
It worked.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is now.
Hey, we're going to take you next, Mike Mitchell. But you got to wait a little bit.
Psych.
Who got my number up and open iPad?
Oh, my God.
Well, my number's not hard to find if you need me for real estate services.
No, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, folks. So I think we've covered the draft enough. So what else be happening? Let's talk about them Tigers a little bit.
Yes, these Tigers.
First place Tigers.
First place in the AL Central right now. I'm repping my Tigers.
They're playing tonight, late tonight. They're on the West Coast. I think they're in LA. Playing 9:30.
Yeah,
Yeah,
after the Pistons.
Yeah, because they just finished with the Astros and they're playing. Yeah, the Angels.
They're facing
L.A. Yep. Is it the L.A. Angels now? Is that what they are? To me, it's always Anaheim.
Yeah, I always.
Or California. It's always California.
Well, there's so many.
it's the Angels. Yep.
Yeah, there's so many sports teams in California in general. Just with all the sports, you know.
I know, but it's always
some that play in the same
Angels.
arena.
Yeah, I think it's the Angels in a new series. We just lost the series against Houston.
Yeah.
And that was something I was going to bring up earlier before we started taping. Is that for some reason, in my opinion, there's two teams that always give us a freaking hard time. One is the Guardians, right, which used to be the Indians.
Yep.
Doesn't matter whether they are good or bad; they always give us a hard time.
Yeah.
And then, for some reason, over recent years, it's the Astros.
I think because it's the
and the Astros are usually pretty good. Okay, I mean, you got to remember our coach came from the Astros, right?
And then, of course, when Verlander went over there,
but it just seems like that they give a lot of teams trouble, but they always give us a hard time too. But we did at least win the game last night yesterday, and I wanted to mention. Someone that's quietly starting to make some noise is Baez. I mean, everyone gave up.
Baez, baby.
Yeah, everyone was ready to just get rid of him and stuff, but he did supposedly. I don't know all the details. I know he had some kind of an injury and had surgery or something. And which makes sense. If you're not performing, but you have a medical issue, then you might not be able to perform. But yeah, he slowly. I mean, he had a grand slam yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday?
Yeah, he hit a grand slam. And he's hit. He's been hitting. Like I said, I don't know what his numbers are like, but he's slowly getting into the groove. As well as other players have been in the groove, man.
Yeah, Torkelson, Carpenter.
Yep. Riley Green.
Yeah.
He parked a couple the other night.
Yep. So... Yeah, and it's early in the season. You got to remember, a lot of the stuff that they did like this was later in the season last year, right?
Yeah. So the fact that they're already making noise now.
Yes, I like it.
That's a very good thing.
Yeah, because it's such a long season, there's always going to be a lull.
Right.
You'll expect a lull, okay? Yeah. I mean, you got to have a really good season to just keep that up all year round.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this team could do it, but I'm not saying that they will, okay? Because we do have pretty good pitching, too.
That we do.
Yeah.
We do.
We do. And I am so happy about that.
I know you are, Doc. So.
I'm very happy.
But what else? Tonight, Game 6.
Detroit basketball.
Game 6 tonight.
Yeah, man. Back here in the Motor City.
Game 5. Oh, my God, man. Those pesky Knicks just wouldn't go away.
The last couple of games have been tight.
Yeah,
they've been really good. I mean...
Saturday.
Game 4. Yeah, Game 4 here. Wow. I thought we were
I don't blame on the refs. I know it should have been a foul, but the Pistons had that game.
Oh, no. Yeah, they did.
should have had that locked up.
Yeah, that was a fluky thing. Yeah. I mean, we were down by what? We were down by like 16 or something. And then we came up and got ahead by like 11 or something like that. And then we gave up that lead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's crazy. I mean... I think now...
So, what do you think? Are they going to do it tonight?
I think they're going to do it.
Force a Game 7?
Yep. I think...
I hope so.
And I'm going to tell you why.
So. I can't wait to watch it tonight.
I'm going to tell you why, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's hear it.
During the regular season, I think we took like 3 out of 4 times we played the Knicks during the regular season. And I think at least 2 times were on their court, first of all. Second of all, I think the part of the reason we've had so much trouble in this series is because main things. One, because of our lack of playoff experience, even just being at home. I mean, we were jamming and we were starting to get good crowds there, but that playoff atmosphere is totally different.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm talking about because, it's the same with all of our sports, right? Mm-hmm. Anytime the
totally
wings,
different.
anytime
hockey's different.
Totally different.
Hockey's different.
Okay.
Playoff football's different.
Yeah, I mean, that arena was rocking Saturday. And
Dan Campbell was there?
Yep, Dan Campbell was there. Jared Goff was there. A lot of stars were there.
That's awesome that they're there supporting.
Excellent. Yeah. But you had some of the stars there, like Spike Lee and whatnot. That's
Spike Lee was there. I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, yes.
Spike at the Knicks game. Yeah, not in Detroit though.
No, he was in Detroit.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
I didn't see him. I didn't see that.
Yep. So
I know he goes to the Knicks games.
Yep. But no, he was in Detroit.
He traveled. Oh, that's cool.
Yep. And there were some other stars too. I can't think of who. What's his name? The comedian. He actually gave a shout out to how the crowd was in LCA. He's a director now. He does a lot more directing.
Jordan Peele?
No, not Jordan Peele. Damn, I can't think of his name right. His dad was a comedian too. Once I say his name, but anyway, he gave a shout out. But anyway, yeah, they had stars in the house. It's going to be that way again tonight. Okay, because this is Game 6. And see, now that we've played them,
6:30 tonight, 7:30.
I think it's 7:30.
Then the Tigers run at 9:30.
But we've already played 5 games in this series, and I think now we know what to do. Okay, to have the best chance, and we're going to be at home. And what that is, basically, I think, in my opinion, I'm not a basketball guru, but I think it's pace of play. Pace of play. What it is we play that upbeat pace in the games that we've lost. In the last quarter, we've tried to be too careful and we've slowed down the pace. Last game, we kept the pace up, we kept our aggressiveness up, and we had the best chance and we did it. Okay? We took the win. I think we're going to do the same thing. By keeping up the pace, their star players, we wear them down more, especially in that last quarter. That's when you can't let up because, man, some of the shots that some of their stars have made is just blown my mind.
The other night, Game 5, man, they dropped a 3-point. I don't know how he made it. I was like,
I know.
What? We had and then put him right back in the game. I was like, what?
Exactly.
It was like 10 seconds left or something. Like, I could not believe he made it.
Yeah.
He was covered big time. It was amazing. I was like, wow, they would not give up.
And when we do that.
We pulled it off.
Yep. And when we do that, we have other players step up, different players step up, which, once again, it's a team game. It's another team game. I think they're going to take it to 7. I think we're going to go back to New York. And I'm hoping that happens.
This is a podcast, so we'll drop this next week and
yeah,
you guys will all know. You'll already know if we're
you'll
if
know what
right
happened.
or not.
Yep, you'll know what happened. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out there. What else is going on? Nothing major. I mean, we already talked about the NFL, but I just want to remind everyone that we do have the UFL going on right now. It's not as popular, but the reason I like to bring it up is because
you love the UFL.
Well, the reason I bring it up, okay, is because it is, first of all, it is football, okay?
Yeah.
And who do we have on the Lions, man, that came from the UFL? That's a stud.
Jake Bates.
Jake Bates, man.
I remember talking about him last year.
Yeah, so, got to give him props. I mean, like I said, I haven't even been keeping up with them that much this year, but I know that they've been doing pretty good. So, the team overall. So, I think we covered what we wanted to in regards to sports for this taping. What's been going on in the real estate world, Mike?
Man, the real estate world is crazy. It's busy.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy out there? Man,
It is.
Don't listen to the news. I told you earlier, I heard some negative stuff about the market, saying the real estate market's under recessions and all this stuff. It's booming here in Michigan. It is booming. So
yeah,
yeah, it is. Seller's market for sure.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, man, I've been a lot busier on the phone. And it's a mixture of stuff. It's not all one thing.
Yes.
It's not just all buyers. Doing mortgages, I got questions just about, more questions about refinancing, just questions about things going on in general, about financing and whatnot. But yeah, buyers too. I've been fortunate and blessed that I've been talking to some more potential buyers, pre-approving more people over the last couple of weeks.
Excellent.
So,
get pre-approved first.
Yep. So
get pre-approved.
Yeah, got to get pre-approved.
I don't know why they don't want to reach out to the realtors first. They will never. They said, "Did you get pre-approved?" And I try and send them to real lenders. then I'll follow up. I'm like, hey, did you ever hear from so and so? No, never heard from him. Like,
well, you know, I think
I don't know why they're so much quicker to reach out to a realtor.
Well, just in my experience, I think it's because, you know, the realtors over the years, you know, realtors have always done a better job of advertising, not, you know, themselves, because they have to.
Right.
And, you know, realtors are on the front lines with the property.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're the face.
Yeah, you're the face.
I would say they're the face of the transaction.
Exactly. So, you know, people that...
We're kind of like the quarterback, right? We probably get too much credit when things go good, and we get too much blame when things go bad, right?
Exactly.
In the transaction. Because we're the ones left to clean that up when there's a problem. You know, we're the ones that...
Yeah, so especially first-time buyers.
We're the face.
Yeah, first-time buyers don't know any better.
Yeah.
And even repeat buyers, sometimes they forget, right? Because you've serviced someone, you know, in the past, so when they're ready...
Just have it happen all the time. They reach out to me. I'm like, great. Like, let me hook you up with my preferred lender here. Like, then I'll reach out that you hear from. No, it's like, it's funny. So, but we follow up, and you know, we keep in touch, and eventually they come around. So
exactly. Yeah, we're here to serve, man. So anyone out there listening, reach out. Now, what's been going on recently? I mean, in any thing going on with any of your deals?
Of course,
or any
yeah.
experiences recently?
Everything's been crazy. Nothing's ever the same. You know, every deal's different. I always tell people that there's no nothing gets tedious in this business. We've been dealing with repairs on one I'm working with you on. Had FHA repairs in order to close, so we're working with the listing agent, with the buyers, all of us as a team trying to get these repairs done. And good news, we just got it approved, right?
Yeah. Everything's done. Everything got cleared.
Re-inspected.
Yep.
And FHA approved it, so we're on our way, hopefully, to a smooth closing soon.
Yeah, real soon. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because, I just want to expand on just repairs in general. A lot of people don't understand, even if they kind of know, they don't really understand that when you go to buy a home nowadays and you go to get pre-approved for a mortgage, part of the reason they call that a pre-approval is because in most cases you don't have a property picked out yet. Okay? And, as a mortgage loan officer, as a lender, I can do everything to make sure you as a borrower that you're set, okay? That you've got the income, that you've got, good money in the bank. You might be A+ as a borrower, but when it comes to actually processing the loan,
now we got to go through the process.
No, we got to go through the process. Once you find a home,
I get that so often. Of like, well, we do the home inspection, we get past that, and we go on, and they go, well, how long to close it? I'm like, well, we got to do the appraisal, it's got to go through the mortgage process. They're like, what do you mean the mortgage process? I'm pre-approved. Like they think we could just close the next day. I'm like, well, you're pre-approved, means, but the deal, it's got to go to underwriting, the main decision maker, and make sure everything. They got to verify everything and make sure it's a good investment for them. And
that's the key thing is people forget about the asset.
Yeah.
Okay. The property itself is very important, okay? And lenders are looking at the property. They're looking at, okay, they're going to give you a loan. Okay, we have no problem giving you a loan, but what are we going to secure the loan against? We're going to secure it against this house that you want to buy. Well, depending on the type of loan, they have different ways of looking.
$150,000 to buy a doghouse.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, different loan products have different ways of looking at that asset, okay? So you mentioned repairs, and there's a number of loan types. Actually, all the loan types are going to look at the asset one way or the other. Okay. Now, with a conventional loan, in most cases, they're not as particular about
there's not repairs
about the condition of the property,
but there can be. I've had them where they have cite, and sometimes it was silly. I was really surprised, but they can cite
exactly.
Repairs, so
they can. A conventional appraiser can flag something. If they think it's a serious hazard. Yeah.
So I just looked at one, and the garage is horrible. I looked at, gave someone a price on a house, and I told them I don't think you'll get a conventional mortgage on this. The garage is that bad. It's standing, but I mean the roof is just holes in it, falling apart. I mean, it's got to be the oldest roof I've ever seen. It's got to be like 60 years old or something. It's crazy. It's falling down. But the structure itself, the walls are fine. But I'm like, I don't think it's going to have to be a cash buyer for this.
Yeah,
you're not going to approve this. Even a conventional. It was that bad.
If the property or one of the structures can be a liability, it can be an issue for even a conventional loan.
Okay? And it's nothing that they could overlook because it's that bad. I mean, an amateur would spot it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh wow, look at that.
Now, in our industry, usually when we're dealing with repairs, we're talking about like an FHA loan, maybe a VA loan, or an RD, which is a rural development loan.
So the difference of those repairs, they need to be done to get the mortgage.
Yep, they usually got to be done before you close. Yep. In most cases, now there can be some instances when, depending on the lender and depending on the circumstance, where maybe funds can be held in escrow.
Yes. So I just had a situation like this. I mentioned it to you, I think, earlier. It was a listing of mine. They had a sewer scope, the buyer. They had their sewer camera at their home inspection. And we come to find out there was an issue down at the main where it wasn't connected properly or something. I didn't get into all the details. But we had multiple opinions. And everyone agreed that, it was not right. So Mr. Seller agreed to have it taken care of for Mr. Buyer. And everyone wanted to close, so we had an estimate. And the problem with an issue like that is it's weather dependent. These guys can't dig down 15, 20 feet and repair something when it's raining all the time, or, because safety issues and rain. And so he couldn't give us an exact date. So what we did, we all wanted to close. The buyer wanted to close and get in there. It was still working. The sewer was working, so don't get me wrong. It was habitable. It just wasn't correct. Mm-hmm. So we escrowed 1.5 times the amount of the sewer repair, and we closed, and everyone's happy. So now it's going to get done. It turned out it got done. He was able to do it that day, the day we closed. So, but we couldn't count on that, and we thought it was going to be later in the week. So, but so there's always solutions, ways you can.
Yeah, well, not always, but usually.
Well, not always, but
usually
not always, but there's.
And a lot of times
workarounds.
Yep, so. No, and that's a great example. Great, that experience is a good one to use as an example.
As it turned out, we basically didn't need to escrow the money because the plumber came and did it that day of closing and was done that before we closed. We had a late afternoon closing. We could have just paid him cash, but everything was done in escrow, so we just left it.
But you didn't know.
But we didn't know because he could have been there Thursday or Friday, or it's raining today. Like we don't, We didn't know. It could have been next week because, Michigan weather, you don't like it. Wait a minute. Right. It'll change.
No, and that was what I was going to mention was a lot of times, funds being held in escrow for repairs, a lot of times it's because of weather. Here we have all the seasons here in Michigan. So
what that means in escrow is we're withholding, if the seller agrees to take care of a repair, is we withhold money from their proceeds. So it's held in escrow. So no one actually has it. An escrow company has it, so you don't have to worry about it getting paid. And when they submit the bill, we'll pay it. So it works out. So, but these repairs, that's different than FHA, VA, even conventional sometimes. Those are repairs that need to be done to satisfy the mortgage.
Exactly.
So I want to make sure they understand that.
Yeah, in most cases. But see, even in cases like that.
Even then, we could sometimes escrow, right?
Sometimes you can escrow, like I said, if it has to do with the weather.
What it is, yeah.
Yep. Like I've had instances where something needed to be repaired, like on the exterior of the house, but it's the middle of winter and they can't do it. So they'll, with the lender's blessing, basically to keep things short.
Right. I've had that happen.
They'll allow for those funds to be held in escrow. Every situation is different, folks. Yep.
So like every situation is different. So you can't hold us to every.
Yeah.
Because every situation is different. There's variables. So, and then when there's repairs, if a buyer has their home inspection and asks the seller to do repairs, that's a whole different animal also. Sometimes they'll agree and do repairs prior to closing for the buyer. I personally, if I'm representing the seller, I'd prefer not to do repairs, just keep it monetary. It's like, hey, we'll give you this much money or a credit for this, and you can take care of it when you own the house,
Exactly.
It's just easier.
Yeah, especially if it's not a requirement to get the loan done.
That's what I'm saying. If it's something, if it comes to that. But that's a different animal, like I said.
Exactly. But that's all part of the negotiation, right?
It is.
That's why someone looking to buy a house, they want an experienced agent, right?
I hope so.
And that's why they need to call Mike Mitchell, right?
586-291-2652. Call or text. Find me on the web, Mike Mitchell Realtor.
Yeah, and before you call Mike, you need to get pre-approved, right?
Absolutely. I know a guy.
So who are you going to call? Who are you going to call?
Professor.
Yep. Dave Underwood, Top Flight Home Loans. Call or text 248-219-3457. So I guess we're going to call it for this show. I want to give a shout out to the Knot. Great co-working space. Check them out.
Knot. Shout out to Liquid Death.
Yes, our
favorite water.
Our favorite water.
Please sponsor
Unofficial
us.
sponsor.
Yeah.
We had a little production meeting at Baffin Brewery in St. Clair Shores a week ago, the three of us.
Yes.
Shout out to Baffin Brewery.
Yeah.
Shout out to Baffin.
And W.A. Hooper Marketing.
Absolutely.
Oh, you guys are too kind.
for all of your marketing, all of your video and audio. I mean, he does a wide range of things. I mean, he does a zillion things for us. So we appreciate you. Appreciate you, Walter.
Appreciate you guys too.
And as far as you out there, if you're listening to us, we appreciate you very, very much. We should appreciate your support. Please continue to support us if you don't mind, and let other people know about us. Like us, share us, and let everyone know that they can check us out on Spotify or
YouTube.
Yes. So until next time, folks.
Peace out.
Go Detroit Pistons!